Going on, everybody? Just getting started up here. So, what I'm seeing tonight is like normal, coming off the 4 hour. So, actually, when I streamed London last night, we were here and we were wanting this raid of Asia low and equilibrium or high time frame equilibrium uh, tap and an unfilled 4 hour FEG tap, because you can see Asia left literally to a tick of tapping it. Um, Obviously that didn't work out, but the delivery came. So now what my original plan was for yesterday London session was to get down into this, and then once we once we had that tap, there's really nothing for me, at least, in all of this range for us to potentially be targeting. Like, we do have this 1 hourly low here. It's actually not even previous day low anymore. Previous day low here. So we actually just swept previous day low. That was that Asia low. Fix that so that's not confusing. Um, so we do have this hourly low. This would be um, Friday's Asia session low. On ES, if they're still a little out of sync, is not ideal. So we'd have previous day low here. You can see it's still a good bit above Asia, or a good bit above previous day low, or that Asia low, whatever you want to refer to it as. But it had already mitigated this H4 um, that was made off the same candle as NQ's H4 that I was looking at. Um, it did that last night, and it put in its Asia low on that. So it not returning to that area to me is a good thing for higher. I mean, we have sold off a good bit, but that doesn't really scare me away from wanting to go long. What I'm seeing here is we've ran this low, which I like. Um, what I don't like for longs is, if you look on ES, we technically, it's by a couple of ticks, so kind of to your discretion, I guess. But technically now that is an H4 IFEG, and this could be, closing under could give us the IFEG, and now this manipulation wick off this 4 hour open 29 minutes ago was retapping that IFEG. And then you also have a balanced price range, which is basically overlapping um, fair value gaps. Actually, you have it. Oh no, it potentially will be on the 4 hour after this candle close, but it's right here on the 1 hour. So you had this fair value gap get inverse, and now uh, technically, actually here, that would be the balanced price range, and you can see that it tapped it to the tick, and then uh, pushed away. Now, with all that said, I don't mind. I mean, this is an hourly candle, so if you zoom in let's go down to the 15. We're really that even though that hourly candle was showing bearish right now, we're still in potentially an uptrend here. I like the uptrend because we ran a really good low over here on NQ. We're tapping a POI on NQ. And, there are times that, an FEG will get uh, technically inverse by, a tick or two, but it's um, really should be treated more as it was filled. I know I might receive some flack on that. Anyway, so as our 4 hours opened, here's our 4-hour open. It immediately sold off, and then it's held a 15-minute fair value gap right here. So to me, what I would be looking for is this for the 4-hour open. This is the manipulation, and then we get a bullish 4-hour candle. Now, where to target again is a little tricky because the indexes or the indices are so detached right now. We actually do, now that I'm seeing it, you could honestly consider this. You could almost, I mean, that's 37 points. I mean, I guess that's not real. I mean, again, discretionary if you consider that relative equal lows. To me, that's a little scary to have underneath our trade, but we don't have that on ES. The other interesting thing is if I like the 7-hour. Now that sounds random, but essentially each session that we all use in futures are roughly 7 hours. Outside of the New York PM, so you'll get 3 7-hour candles and then 1 7-hour candle in New York PM. That's not a full 7 hours. But what I like using the 7-hour for is each session is essentially one candle. So you can see, all right, here's my Asia session right here. It's that candle, right? And then this this starts at 1 a.m. So kind of London pre-market, and then um, so 1, 2, and then he'll start at 8, a new one. So you'll have uh, 8 to 2 p.m. on one candle, New York time. Anyway, so on the 7-hour, what's a little interesting to me is if you pull your uh, your fib tool or your Gantt box out and go from low. So I'm measuring swing low, swing high on the 7-hour. That puts your equilibrium right here. So far, when I originally saw this during Asia, what I was thinking originally was, okay, we pull back down into equilibrium. Maybe the next candle opens and sweeps the low of the previous one, and then we get that bullish push upward. So I do like that, especially on this ES chart. But we do need to also remember we are building up a lot of low resistance liquidity through here. Like if we go down to like the 1 hour, really just to here would be my concern. So what I mean by that is uh, uh, basically a trend line building. You're not sweeping liquidity at all to keep the trend line, to keep respecting a trend line upwards or downwards. You're not sweeping liquidity and uh, to get that move. So you're just building liquidity pool after liquidity pool at each one of these lows as it's touching that trend line, continuing, which makes it, in my opinion, a very prime spot to for lows to get ran. Anyway, so back on the 1 hour, I really like this. I have it shown in orange here. This is actually, I'm considering this not an FEG anymore, but a balanced price range. So change that. But this box right here, we have pulled back into it, right? And so far respected it. If we start getting over this, that to me is signaling that more than likely this 1 hour, since this is way down in discount. This is a bearish PD array in the discount of your range from this high to this low. Right. So if we put our pull on it, right? So anything under this 50% is in discount. Um, to me, bearish PD arrays in discount is not really where um, smart money likes to get involved. So anyway, so what I would like to see, since we did get a lower open on the 4 hour, because I don't want to buy a 4 hour candle with no significant manipulation. I think this last 4 hour did a deep sweep, swept a swing low, and it's respecting this 4 hour fair value gap. Now we've opened low again, and we've now pushed it up again, potentially. Obviously, it's not all the way back up. But so what I'm watching very closely is this 4 hour opening price on NQ. ES is really close to it as well, right here. Getting above that, and then seeing how we do in this balanced price range here. If we start to inverse this, then I would be very interested in long opportunities. Now, the question becomes, where do you long to? Okay, so if we look at the 4 hour, we're going to have this 4 hour FEG here. Clean my chart up just a bit, sorry. Still holding that. So we'd have this new 4 hour right here. Technically, we now inverse this. All right, that was bothering. So we have a new H4 here. So the simple answer and the most risk averse answer would be to long into the untapped 4 hour. Now, with that said, we do not have that same 4 hour on the ES chart. And to me, um, points of interest that are not on both charts at on that same candle, um, hold a slightly less weight to me. So I think that it is reasonable to also look at, let's see, this is 3 p.m. Well, okay, so you would basically have this hourly swing high right here. You could deem that New York PM high, and then you have previous day high. I mean, there's nothing wrong with holding a runner and running all the way up through here because, like I said, ES doesn't have the 4 hour. It has this IFEG, but it doesn't have a brand new bearish 4 hour that you'd be going into. So potentially it may be a better trade on ES to take now that I'm kind of thinking it through. So we can look at that as well. But they both they both have the same thing in their way for us to get entry. And that is we want to get back above the 4 hour open, which is what I have highlighted here. We want to see bullish market structure continue on the 15 minute, obviously the 5 minute, 30 minute. We need these to start holding in bullish structure. And we want to see this little 1 hour, let's see, H1 EPO. So balance price range, two uh, two fair value gaps overlapping each other. So you had this fair value gap here, and then you have this fair value gap here. So where in common do they overlap? And that would be your balance price range. So because that is consistent on both charts have formed a balance price range off the same candle, same candles. That to me is a uh, very important sign. So that could potentially allow us to bring our entry further down and just go for this to get uh, inverse instead of waiting all the way to up here. This depends on how good of structure do we actually get on the way up. Would be kind of my deciding factor. I'm gonna highlight this H1 open. So now it looks like we're getting that flip over here on the ES chart. They're both respecting the 15-minute on the way up, which is exactly what we'd be looking for. We can put that on the chart just to show. And then let's see how it holds these 4 hour opening prices. We want to, you know, keep the foot on the gas, so to speak. So, but so far it looks pretty good. And technically, Now that I'm thinking about it, to add more context to the trade, because what we have swept on in Q is previous day low right here, and on ES, previous day low is way down here. So now we can also add, we're not taking a trade solely because of this, but we can also add to our clues that we would, if we get this to reverse here, we would hold a bullish SMT at previous day low. And that would signal to me ES being the stronger indice, simply because it did not uh, it did not sweep. But as you probably know, these SMTs don't necessarily have to hold, right? Like um, they can get invalidated if this continues down and ES also sweeps its previous day low. So we'll see, but that would be a potential additional clue in our direction. So ES got right to its 4-hour opening price now. Hit it on this candle and this candle. I'd be interested to see what the 1 minute looks like on that level. So right here is your 2 a.m. start. The 4-hour candle. Here's our sell-off. Here's our 15-minute fair value got tapped. Now we flip back bullish and we're grinding higher. Got a 5-minute right here. We would definitely want to see that hold. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to, but just in the sake of time, the entry. Now NQ is looking a little more bullish. We are on a start of a new 15-minute candle. Started 4 minutes ago. Um, so it is not it is not that irregular for it to open opposite. That's exactly what we're trying to do with the 4-hour candle for our trade, right? Is it opened in the opposite direction as the trade. We want it to go up. I want the 4-hour candle to open opposite direction of that. And I want it to manipulate into a point of interest that is significant or sweep liquidity. And then I can start looking for a trade. So our last 4-hour candle swept previous day low, SMT at the low, and now we have this, um, bullish pick back up, and now it is, originally holding that 15-minute fair value gap, but we need this thing to get above these 4-hour opens. Now, on the other side of that idea is a trade I don't like as much. You could call this here, I guess, your Asia low. Um, and that is shorting the Asia low. I don't like that as much. Essentially, yesterday we picked up SMTs at some of these highs. ES went um, much higher. So ES has already swept all the way up to this high on NASDAQ. Um, so we had obviously a big SMT there on the high time frame. So this big sell-off during Asia doesn't really scare me because it could have just been the reaction to that SMT. I know that that SMT is going to have some sort of bullish react or bearish reaction. We're going to let this 15-minute play out. It does look like it's getting a decent bounce back up. This 5-minute did end up holding so far. So everything's looking good as of now. So we got about 7 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. And that would also close our hourly candle. Yeah, these are looking pretty good to me. And I'm strictly just speaking about this part right in here, like the bounce. It was bouncing up, opened the 4-hour, went lower, tapped the PD array, and now it looks to be driving to make a new high and flipping the 4-hour back bullish, which is what we want. Very nice looking 15-minute candle there for me. Very, very nice. I'm gonna take this. gonna try to find some entertainment for myself while I wait for this. I feel like I get on this stream, man, and I got a whole bunch of time where I just gotta sit because when I wasn't streaming, then I would just say, "Oh, all right, I want to wait till this 15-minute candle closes. I'm gonna wait on it," and I would, go do something else, and then come back in that amount of time. But when I'm streaming, I can't really just like leave and come back. And anyway, so we finna getting ready for GTA 6. I don't really play video games much anymore, but GTA has been like a game I've played since I was a kid. So it would just be wrong to not get it and play it. Looks like we're getting our flip here, boys. I bet I could even get that on the streams. Never thought about that. See here. Probably not actually, because it's not even hooked to not hooked to this laptop. Uh, all right, I need this thing to go ahead and rip. I need this thing to rip. Looking good, boys. We just gotta wait just a little longer and get the right entry on that. We don't want to force this because this could still hit that bounce price range and drop technically, even though it's giving us a lot of clues on the high time frame. For my opinion, not financial advice. Doesn't it suck that people have to say that every 10 seconds? The heck? I'm going to tell y'all a secret to success in trading. You got to find things to keep yourself like kind of busy while you wait. If you don't have something in your trading area, whether that's your desk or I used to trade in my car at work. I mean, I've traded a lot of places, but wherever that is for you, like you gotta have uh you gotta have something to like keep yourself at bay, to not force setups. And maybe when you get like super experience, you don't need it as much. But for me, at only like a year of profitability, I have to be very careful to not, revert to some of my not good habits that kept me broke. I like that flip right there. I like that. I like that. I'm wheeling over that. All right, where do you need to go here? You're listening to Blind. What's going on? Reflex says it's hard. You're gonna find the let's get it. Buddy. Still my body. Oh, look at that, boys. Body breathing. That is right off that 1 hour candle open. But it does have a decent manipulate. It does have a decent wick on it, I guess. I don't think that's bad. I mean, we've already gotten a sweep. We've already gotten a lot of uh, manipulation in. And maybe that's all that it needs. So we just got a really good tap of that 1 hour on ES. See how that looks to be holding there. Yeah, this thing looks like it's rocketing right through that balance price range, guys. Everything's looking pretty sweet. Big SMT off the 4 hour. Ran the low on the previous 4 hour candle, opened lower on this candle, expecting consequent encroachment of the 4 hour. 1 hour bearish fair value gap here, but it's way in the discount of the 1 hour range from here to here. Equilibrium's like up here. So we have this 4 hour right here. That's basically right at, well, actually, look at that. Here, I'll get all my artwork off. But you see how the bearish PD array slightly above the high time frame uh, dealing range right here, 50%. Here's where the H4 starts. I think a trade just to here would be pretty solid. What would we like? On 1 minute. Where am I? Got one at 51, 870, 57, 60. Okay. I was doing some math on where these accounts are. I did add my copy trader to my stream screen there, guys. I hadn't had that on. So I always rotate accounts. Basically, how I've found that works best for me is I want to trade on an account not in drawdown as much as I possibly can. So regardless if I win or lose, I'm going to cycle to the next set of accounts, the next session that I trade. And I'm going to keep doing that. And what that ultimately lets me do is trade a lot of the time on accounts not in drawdown, which is good for my site. And then 2, if you look at say you're running 5 accounts, because the first time I did this, I ran it on 5 funded accounts, and it worked out exactly like this. This was probably a year ago, but I think I blew 3 of the accounts, and then I had one at they were all 50Ks. So I had one at like 51.5 or 51.7. Like it was in profit, but it wasn't to like a payout level. And then I had one of the 5 accounts like 52.8 or something like that. And just taking the 50% payout that I could off that one account, like that covered more than 10 accounts. You get what I'm saying? So by cycling your accounts, to my results, I've spread my losses out. So if I have 3 losses and 3 wins on a break-even week, the 3 wins are more than likely not going to be on the same accounts that the 3 losses are on. And then once I have an account go into drawdown, like I said, next session, I'm not trading that, and I will not return to that account. Obviously, if they all go in drawdown, you don't have a choice, but that hasn't happened to me. But in theory, if not all of them go into drawdown, then only go back to your drawdown account or accounts when you have your A+ trade, and don't over risk. Still, basically, just risk enough to make your drawdown back. So if I'm down 500, I get my A+ setup, and then I'm going to go and risk basically try to make the 500 back off the A+ setup. And then once I get that one back to even where it's not in drawdown, I'm scaling profits at minimum, going break even at minimum. I might hold some runners or something like that, but I'm going to make sure that I hold at least my account to that, 0 drawdown. And then, I just pick it up just like I do any of the other. Trying, for me at least, I'm a math guy. But for me, the math to trade all of your accounts and expect to go, say like a week to get through the eval, and then 2 weeks or so to get to a payout. That's 3 weeks where you can't let the drawdown come and get you. You got to trade really solid for those 3 weeks and then keep it going. I think that the prop firm model allows you to kind of spread out your losses on different accounts if you play it that way. And the ROI is insane. Obviously, it's not as good as copying all your accounts and having, really green weeks on top of each other, which I have had, but just over time, I've noticed that this structure is better. And then, I get, and then as you get payouts and all that kind of stuff, you can still add more accounts. Like when I started, I had 5 accounts, and I cycled from this account to that account to this account to that account every day or every session that I traded. But now, I'll have 2 accounts at a time. You can still do that, but you still keep that uh, cycling setup to it. So these 2 accounts that I'm trading right now, not in drawdown. They're both positive. And I'm work, just kind of I'll take, this trade in this session, or if I don't take a trade in this session and I'll take it in New York, whatever. And tomorrow I'll go another pair of accounts. Whenever that loss comes, that's fine. And I'll have one of those, one set of accounts in drawdown. And then I'll just let those sit until I get just a gimme trade that I know, like 99% sure that this is going to hit. And then I'll take it on drawdown. That's just that's to me, that just the math is better for us as the trader. I don't in that scenario. Hell going on here? What you doing here? I live here. All right. So anyway, reinvigorating my to make us up here. This to be go. Hey guys, I'm kind of liking it. Nice shit, nigga. Look who's happening with it, man. Oh no. I think we're on the right side of price. Dang. Gotta spend my day with another. I think we're on the right side of price here. I mean, all the way to the 7-hour is making sense to this entry to me. No, I ain't missed. You asked her to stay for good. Which is fucked your girl. Mugged your pretty good. Thought about your ass. Now, trying to hold this above this 4-hour on NQ, I don't know. But I know I'm not holding bigger balls than you. I'm going at minimum break even at this 4-hour bearish for value gap there. Why you keep hanging around? Shake this fool. And I would look to scale some profits because that's already 79 points from the top of this FEG. I might look to take this actually over here on ES, but I would still hold. I would still look to hold it until. I would still look to hold it until NQ hits this 4-hour. Gonna get you fucking there, man. 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 This motherfucker get on my goddamn nerve, man. Part of the nigga arm, man. Come on, man. Driveway. Let's eat. Ah.
Goodness, goodness. Exact girls. Here. Let's go to the gun.
Okay, that was my alert. Let's drop down and let's see. We are forming a 15-minute right here. On both indices, so check. Not quite finished yet, but we could potentially look to take entry off of this. Because my concern is we don't want this 1 hour to really get too crazy high because then our risk to reward is going to get messed up. We really want to take this trade with the assumption that the 4-hour candle doesn't flip back bearish. So we would put it maybe a little under there, maybe protect the wick. We'll see how that 15-minute. We want to see how this 15-minute closes. We definitely don't want to see the 4 hours start turning back bearish. One. Two, we really would like this to leave us a 15-minute fair value gap. We got plenty of space, even if it comes down a bit from here, because we could potentially look to take our long entry off that 15, and then our RR would be pretty insane. We got that. I mean, that would be worth to me. That would be worth just taking a shot on that. Everything lines up all the way from the 7 hour, 4 hour, 1 hour. The trade looks really good to me. See what it does here.
He got his flag.
We got 10 minutes, 30 seconds on. It's 15 minutes.
Told me, stretch out your fucking nerve. Get your piss. The creepiest motherfucker around here. You know, when I went away, he punked little home. And I was a big home. Now I'm out. Little homies a big home. But you still gotta respect what the fuck this nigga talking about. We all big, but he bigger. Exactly. That's some fucking pyramid scheme bullshit. Pyramid, look, man, Illuminati from shit. Soon as we get this shit, soon as we get paid, soon as we prosper.
I'm hoping this worked out for us here off this entry. Maybe it can be an early night.
I'm alert to the star. Hey, what's up, man? Hiring range in the back? Customize. Oh, hell yeah. You can trick blam blam out of it here. Quit all that. Just straight up artillery. Range, y'all shut the fuck up. I got this, man. All right, homie. Get your shot, though. Flashlight. Okay. Fuck him out of. We got shut the fuck up and come on. Listen up. Crystal clear. Nothing. Anything. Yeah, we got felonies. We ain't touching. I ain't even
It looks good, boys. This is looking really good.
that shit today. Hell no. I mean, we legit as a mother. And just chill.
I don't know where the
The hell you this all without feeling the need to grab a gun just or shoot something. Do psych test or shit. Psych test. Man, you see nigga right in a 5150. Just shut. Buy that shit, I don't know. Just let me read. And if the purchase is made by this man, got nothing to do with the two gentlemen.
All right.
That's right.
Let's see here. 7 minutes. Did it just respect the 5?
The spot. Basically, we take hands that, old friends. And
So right now we have, see, I'll mark it on the chart. We got 80.5 points between inversing this hourly and the unmitigated 4-hour. So, and ES is to me running even more bullish. I'm getting that off of this high time frame SMT here. So it would potentially move even more in reference to the NASDAQ. So we would take the trade with the notion that look at one more time here. So Asia sold off. We got our run on liquidity, previous day low. ES did not sweep previous day low. So we have this SMT, right? We have now tapped what was an unmitigated 4-hour FEG that we were actually targeting to take a trade out of last night here in Asia, but didn't get that trade. It is holding it. And now if we look at the 15, we're holding bullish market structure, which is great. We've tapped this 15, which is great. But what is really telling me the story is off the 4-hour open, which started right here. You can see that we opened lower, tapping an unfilled point of interest. If we look at the 4-hour time, I'll get rid of my drawings. This last candle already had manipulation on it. To the downside, it swept the low. To me, it's okay that I don't have a gigantic wick on the next 4-hour candle. As long as it's opening somewhat impulsively opposite of the trade direction I want that I'm targeting and tapping an area that is, in my opinion, a significant point of interest. I usually won't go under the 15 though. 15 is probably the smallest time frame I will look in for in that regard. Now we're popping through. We have a H1 BPR gap that we've now ran through with pretty, I mean, pretty easily. And then we have uh, the 1 hour that's also in common between the indexes. So the question now becomes off entry what we're most comfortable. The absolute most the safest route is to wait. What do we got? 33 minutes for this H1 to go IFEG, and then look for it to open the next hourly candle lower, expecting a bullish candle, open the next hourly candle lower, retapping the H1, giving that IFEG retap, and then we could scale way down from there and look for really low time frame IFEG to use as like our last confirmation, and then we could ride it to the 4 hour. That would still leave us 80.5 points on the NASDAQ, which is not a bad move at all, by any means. The problem is, does it overextend in that time, and the RR starts to not make sense for us? The other option is we look at the hourly BPR gap here, especially on NASDAQ, very telling. You can see, it formed from here, and then you have this fair value gap here, which this spot in common between them. You can see this thing's tapped multiple times there and held price up, then inverse. Now you can see this candle pull back into it. We could just take that inversing if we get a very bullish candle on the hourly here, but it doesn't quite inverse this all the way. We could maybe cheat it a bit and get in a little earlier off that flipping. The third option, which would be the least safe, would be looking at this 15 that's forming here. So we've already whipped all the way through the H1 on both of them. ES to me is freaking trucking, which is making me want to look to take longs over there probably. I would still look to get out when we hit the H4 unmitigated on NQ though, because you don't know, what reaction that might entail. At least be break even and scale profits. So they both have this 15. With the way that ES is looking though, obviously we all know that this can stop at any second, but at this moment it's looking extremely bullish. So it may not even come back for that. But NASDAQ, the way that this is closing, this will more than likely tap this. And then we could look for our low time frame IFEG, as it's coming down and doing that doing the tap of it. So we got 3 entry options that I'm kind of considering at the time. They're all for the same trade. They all could potentially work out basically the same way. But all right, here's our new 15 here. So now these are actually locked in. Go ahead and mark those out. but I don't want to chase price here. I don't want to chase price here because I still have 80 points. Even if I wait for this to IFEG, we're already halfway through the hourly candle. And I mean, this is very bullish, but we haven't ran too far. Hey, Sage, I just saw your note. Yeah, so Sage, I used to trade gold, um, and I don't know, I just at some point I like tried to really like simplify what I was doing to to really all I try to do is I've done this for this is my 6th year. Um, now all I really try to do is catch 3 to 5 trades a week. And I don't care if it comes out of New York AM or London. Those are usually the two that I trade the most. Um, but I'll sometimes use the 10 p.m. 4-hour candle in Asia, uh, or the 2 p.m. in New York PM. But probably 90% of my trades are coming at New York AM or London. London, the 2 a.m. candle, and then uh, New York, the 10 a.m. Uh, Gold for me, I've made a lot of. I can remember a lot of profit that I've made from gold, but I also remember like I just felt like I wasn't as consistent with it. I think I got bigger numbers on it at times. Maybe my highest trade, like profit per trade now that I'm thinking about. But I just don't feel like I read it as good. Now, like I just look at these two charts, and I've really dialed to the 4-hour structure and like the daily structure, and then I'm just trying to catch, basically 1 hour worth of expansion inside of a 4-hour candle. And I only want to transact when the 4-hour candle is opening opposite of me, showing me manipulation opposite of me, whether that's sweeping liquidity, sweeping the last 4-hour low, tapping some point of interest, something significant, not just some wick to no man's land. I want that. I want to see that. I want to see it move away from that. And then I want to start seeing like at least 15-minute IFEGs. I got an hourly one here because it's kind of in my way. And then all I'm looking at is like, what's my next obvious draw on liquidity? And I scale probably 80-90% at whatever the next draw in that direction is. And then I'll let 1 or 2 contracts run while I'm at break even. Um, and, and then once I get a good 4-hour extension, more than likely, I'm not going to get a trade in that next session unless there's something I'm already seeing that kind of makes sense to like continue to move or whatever. But say like, my trading when I take trades is a little sporadic compared to like a lot of people trade like one session religiously, which is fine, which is what I did for a while. But the way that the way that I kind of stopped doing that was like I felt most comfortable on the 10 a.m. New York AM candle, and I would probably 90% of the time use it as guidance to direction and timing to what uh, I was what the market was showing me at that day. And then I thought to myself, well, if I just trade the 10 a.m. candle, then that's when I'm the most comfortable, right? So I did that for a while, but then my trades per week went way down. And then I would wake up and look, and I would see that London literally like it 4-hour open, it went into a 1-hour unmitigated fair value gap, clean rejection, and it delivered like 100 points. And then I started thinking, I was like, well, if I stay structured around the 4-hour candle, it really shouldn't matter what 4-hour candle I'm using, um, as long as I'm seeing that manipulation. That's showing me that the market is gearing itself to then uh, move. Now, obviously, it doesn't always have to move all the way to where I'm wanting it to go, but that's why I try not to be super greedy on my TPs. I'm not a big RR believer. I trade what makes sense. I won't really go under a 1-to-1 RR. I mean, at some point, I think you have to like chalk the trade idea if the RR is bad enough. I agree with that, but to me, raising this up to get a 2R out of this just for my stats, and potentially this thing tapping this 4-hour and then breaking me, taking me out of break even, that to me makes no to me. But my win rate my win rate kind of protects that because I'm not really sitting there shotgunning trades off the 5 minute or the whatever. Um, my trades are much longer playing out, right? So I get to see more confirmation to what I'm doing. Uh, so my win rate has went up by zooming out on the time frame. Now it's a little more tedious, but that's why I got the advice actually from someone else that like make sure you have like things at your desk or wherever you trade like that you can do to kind of keep yourself uh going. Not something that like distracts you really, but like just enough to like uh not get bored out of your mind. Or worse, where you start to, trade things that aren't your strategy and stuff. That being the biggest idea. But if Sage, if you would like, I can look at the gold chart if there's something you want to look at. But I don't personally trade gold anymore. I keep my eye 90% of the time my trading views on the 4-hour, the 1-hour, and it's split just like this. And then when those start painting me a picture, then I'll kind of come into the 30, the 15, and look for when I want to get involved, and then I will go down all the way to the 1 to actually enter. Just trying to control my uh, risk to reward the best I can. Not that I don't want a high risk to reward. It's just that I'm not going to put my TP somewhere that I don't think makes sense just to squeeze out exactly a 2-to-1, 2-to-1 over. I used to. I think it's can be kind of a trap. Like if you're winning over 50% of your trades, then a 1-to-1 is fine. Now again, I want more than a 1-to-1. That's why I'm down on a 1 minute. But I'm not about to put my stop loss under some 1 minute low. And no, like for me on this trade, my invalidation, because my whole thing is around the 4-hour. So if I look at the 4-hour, I got my deep manipulation, I got my sweep on liquidity. I've had this 4-hour open bearish, flip back up. Both are respecting consequent encroachment of the 4-hour. Um, low time frame bullish, market structure being respected. So my invalidation is if this continues to push up and starts making the IFEGs that I would actually enter off of, then my stop loss would go probably 3 or 4 ticks underneath the 4-hour. So basically, my trade is I believe that it's going to go and hit this 4-hour that's unmitigated before it would take a candle, it'd be something like this at that point. Taking a 4-hour candle looking like that all the way back down to bearish. And if it does, I definitely don't want to be in the trade down into that and then a lower low, all of that. Now, I like it best when that 4-hour open gives me some swing point that or a fair value gap or something that I can use as additional kind of defense there. But like this 15 here is nice for me because even if I take it on ES, right? Like if it beats this 15 and starts to flip the 4-hour back bearish, then I'm wrong. So I will enter off really low time frame IFEGs. Like that's kind of common thing that you see traders do. But a lot of them will run trades like this and advise people to run trades like this and then try to get like a 3-4 R out of it, even sometimes more than that. That to me is crazy. I would rather run something just for my sight, man. Like it's very hard for me to like I understand the math behind having the really high RR and not having as good of a win rate. I understand the math works out the same. Completely understand that. But just for my sight, uh, I'm not really a person that can sit there and lose 70% of the time I'm going to bat and stay in a good headspace. So I think you have to like know those things about yourself when you pick that. So for me, I would much rather when I trade, um, you know, I want to win more than I lose. And even though the losers will cost me more than the other guys, I because I truly let the stop loss breathe a bit compared to other people. I I don't take as many of those scrapes, but it's all to what kind of person you are. Like my friends that enjoy like casinos and stuff, those guys they love they are totally fine with a 30% win rate because they're used to playing games not like this, but eh, playing things that have pretty low win rate overall. But when you win big, right? Like it's that thinking. I'm just not wired like that. I like to win, and um, I think you have to have that part match your or yourself. All right, so no entry yet. If this starts bleeding back through this 4-hour, then I'm gonna probably call it because that's honestly that's what I have to do. I can't really just sit here and watch this stuff forever. Um, simply because I trade because I will take my setup to on any of the 4 main 4-hour candles. I'm monitoring that, uh, all pretty much not all day, but I mean, I don't really look at New York PM very much at all, and I rarely look, but, uh, you know, being there to watch the London candle every day and then New York candle, like, if London's dilly-dallying around, like, I've learned that I just have to call it, even though it may deliver, just, maybe that 6 AM 4-hour candle gets the delivery I want. That's definitely happened, but can't catch them all, unfortunately. And we are getting do you see that little pop off the 4-hour open? And now, even better, we're getting a swing low at the 4-hour open, potentially. If this holds and starts grinding its way back up, we'll see. Or if we'll see if it just starts falling back through. Looks like ES got a really nice tap on its 15. Um, it's definitely looking more bullish than NQ. Um, Got the IFEG right here, actually. Considering taking a bat to this right now. And be 4. Just hit my 3. Right now, this 1 minute's holding price down. See if it goes for one more sweep of the low. We're on a new 15-minute candle, so that 15 could look to open lower as well. Would actually be nice. Well, this honestly doesn't look good to me at all. It's opened higher, and it doesn't necessarily gonna do what it wants, but that's not giving me a very good sign. Even though it is, I mean, from just a trend perspective, it is kind of respecting the path that it's been on. Just don't really know what it's because we are in this 1 out. We have to remember that. If we could do our Dilling range, look, yeah, so it's basically right at equilibrium right now. See what kind of bounce we get here. We got this 15's got a flip. We did get one more sweep. It's right on the 4-hour open, right on equilibrium. Because if this starts to fall, then we're gonna flip the 4-hour back bearish. ES looks good though. Starting to get a little weak size, weak looking. See what we get. We got 9 minutes left on this 15, so this thing's not out of the fight yet. I'm sure we've all seen NQ do much crazier stuff. ES is looking like it's holding its price. It actually has a. It's not formed yet. Yeah, honestly, man, ES looks good. May not give it to. So the opposite side of that trade, which I just felt was far less likely, but is, we start to fall through the 4 hour. ES comes and mitigates uh, its previous day low. Man, that's way down there for ES. But looking at this on the 1 hour, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. Maybe not previous day low, but at least coming after this. Now this is showing. But the problem with that trade though, guys, is you're shorting through this. You're shorting through this huge wick, which is not my style of trading. What usually happens, what usually happens is as soon as not as soon, but like 30 minutes after I kill the stream, I look over and it's like playing out to a T. That actually has happened at least twice in the last couple weeks. But there's nothing here now telling me to take on. And honestly, there's really not a bunch to look at. I mean, I guess you could use this 15 right here as your short entry. And then this here is this is your current H4 low. So you go, I guess, and try to run that. You have a little 30-minute hiding right here. I don't know. That's interesting. I'm gonna at least wait until this candle closes because, like I said, you never really freaking know with these two things. They get a little crazy sometimes. I try not to put my will on them. Gotta look at what they're doing.
But I was using it. If it's test there,
Sage, do you want to look at the gold chart for anything?
Heels go wrong type situation. Now, see that negative who Lamar was telling
While we're waiting on this 15-minute to close.
that the power of positive bullshit. I'd be clenching your fucking vagina with my aunt, nigga. After this big, probably nigga up. This ain't new age shit. It's fact. You get what you get, fool. You been getting dick, but you ain't giving it up. Some Mark talk like that to an OG. CGF changed, man. No wonder the hood is so lame right now. Speaking of lame, Lamar's been well. No. What's that? It's nothing, my nigga. Nothing. You know, get some ideas. Man, ideas ain't your strong suit. So put it on. It's nothing, huh? When it's something real, we'll talk. Bullshit, man. It's realer than this crap. What? Down to the West, when I'm sitting in it. You hear me? Nice. Here. You find. He said, "It's the kind of spot where we all think stir." That's what the. I'm more of a. I'm more of a bitch type net. You trying to step to me? Got that shit, nigga. With the brand, nigga. Talking about buku brand. What's up, boy? Everything cool? Oh man. Oh man, you kidnapping this nigga. Oh, come on. Real deep. Just got out, crossed in line, did some time with some. Hey, look, this ain't about you know. Look, open about that. You don't mess with the nigga. Then some like the pop. Oh, this some pop. But shit. Nigga, it's fuck my business. Oh, big ass ballers. Whatever, like. Fucking these. Man, nothing you got. Like, oh, motherfucker. Hey, me. Let's take that. But I laughed through that. Yeah. Finish. So that shit was so long.
All right, guys, this is looking cooked to me.
Ass baby.
Oh, I'm reloading.
Next time, so food. Yeah, nigga, I mean that. Gotta be out. Oh, you. Oh. Private plan. Boss. Oh, got you put that little pump up. Shit. Get up. It's hot on fingers. Vulture clubs you have fallen down the stairs, move. It was a safety hazard before blood got spilled all over the place. You know, 30. Hey, it's motherfucker. That's great. You gotta lay there. for a long time. Like, okay, what happened? It's not you. I have a fucking lot. The man is not. I don't know why. They I stay without receiving voices. It's just I speak.
Hurt. Uh,
I like talking. Yeah. Or other stuff. Yes, yes, yes. And this is I could put off the night. We can't tell them. Say about it.
what hurting?
I'm never looking at it.
Oh, reloading. That's the worst time. I think I've gotten too old to play video games.
Say that shit. It's on my God, money. It's not me. You don't feel.
That's angry.
Don't do this. You're right. And look, the fool. Never trust the phone. Never trust you unless I'm taking away. I'll take my head. That's all. And I do it again. It's fake shit. We're one time. And that's why I'm forward. I don't know. No, this bad forward. So it's behind here. Yeah, do it. What is up? Huh? That's wrong. Reasons. Oh, no. Oh, oh, yeah. Oh, oh, wait, that motherfucker. No. That's turn off.
Bro, you freaking joking, bro? Oh my god. Got hit by a car?
You can loan the seat next to the homes. I was not trying to see. And they
What's that door? Oh, wait.
was careful, boy. I said, I'm not. I have to terrorize him to the heel. You know,
Go up the wrong ramp on the interstate.
he's just so was it else. Everything was okay. That's crisis about this. And the like people. They want to write. Just pick me up on the side of the road. That's the story. Sorry. But I'm sorry. They'll be pushing the clock. in the beginning. Just don't like the shit. They see the end. I want to see my snails.
Hey, this have been another manipulation. It's not taking the 4 hour low.
I ain't catching it.
Man, my car is struggling.
Work. Stop weak ass fishing, homie. They got me with me, homie. Check for what? If we up in the center, that's the story, man. And we I'm saying, we homie. We going back to my crib to walk and what the hell you get you back? Shit, man. What's that? I did to you. Yeah, thank you for that. It's all on you, LP. Thank you, dumbass. Me? And I ain't know the food was going to go on.
Ooh, that thing's cooking now.
All this shit. I don't care if you see shit life, man. You dead. Actually, we ain't CGL for life, because all that means money for nothing. Got our own shit now, homie. Foreign gangs. Oh, no, he don't mean that, though. That's just talking outside his net. I'm going to reach across lines, all right? Conversate with the football. Yeah, good idea, man. More shit. But if I got to pay you for this, the game comes first. Oh, it ain't gonna come to that, huh? You are diplomatic as shit. Yeah, he a real fucking diplomat, ain't you? It's that peace talk motherfucker should have seen Middle East. Huh? No wonder I get out of here. No one's stopping you, little homie. Must get your little shit.
Kind of looking good to me. Like, even though it didn't respect that 115 minute, that's the only reason I don't like it. But this would be M15 IFEG there. This would be a nice little 5 minute that we have inverse. Is nice. Probably that I was from earlier. So if we got a retest of this 5 minute IFEG, that could be interesting. Let's see. So yep. We may not get it on ES, boys. We may get it just on NASDAQ because it's a bit closer. So the blue mark, the highlighter mark is the 4 hour open, the 2 a.m. 4 hour open. That hour. entry model has been derived from. So a little tricky 4-hour candle because so if we put this at 2, this line here. All right, so that's our 2 a.m. open there. We opened lower, which was nice. That gave us a tap here to the unfilled. And then we were really just waiting for the H1 up here to flip or potentially this 15 to get respected to look for long. Obviously, that's now inverse, which I didn't like. On NQ, we went bearish a bit on the 4-hour again, which I don't like. But it's not unheard of for the candle to flip a couple of times. But obviously, I like my most clean entries is when it opens opposite and then flips and goes, right? So it's a little discouraging that it didn't give me that setup. ES, look at this. So I mean, it did go through the 4-hour and consolidated there for about 10 minutes and then shot right back up. So it might have just been a deep manipulation. So now, oh, look at this. So actually, this is an M15 IFEG here. And now we actually have a new bearish 15-minute here. That could be our. Do not have it on ES, but that would show that that weaker index is ready to run. Remember, we have 80.5 points on NQ between, this being the worst entry to the H4 unmitigated fair value gap here. So we got plenty of room. ES is even more bullish. So it's got a lot of runway in here. And I actually see on this 15-minute a lot of low resistance liquidity built up there, which I like. So really, we could probably drag this all the way to previous day high. It may not get there. I'm going to scale out majority of the position at this H4 because I don't know what it will do. Um, so the 5-minute hasn't been retapped on either of them yet, but this 15 did just get tapped. So, and then now we do have SMT at the high, at least for now. We would be hoping that this starts to invalidate as NQ keeps pushing higher. I don't know where it's supposed to go. Not the wrong house?
Oh man, you go right.
I'm the wrong house.
Oh,
It's fine.
shut the fuck up. Hell no. You sounding more me out every day. Hell no, nigga.
And my shoulder got sunburned.
So okay. Nigga, I told you to go talk
Dang,
about it. Straight
bitch.
mark ass bitch.
All right, May. I think we'll put us another text box up for pops in. Waiting. We actually have a 5 minute overlapping the IFET. So we actually have a huge 5 minute BPR gap right here, honestly. And we do also have that right there. Got a 5 minute IFE, 5 minute BPR, and a 5 minute FE. So I think we got plenty of reasons to come down. But ultimately, I think our key to entry is going to be 15. Six minutes left on the 15 candle. Let's see how that closes, and we'll go from there. Pretty bullish to me. Huh. Why would I put this car in my
Down, down. I'll go around. Okay, that's me. So, yeah.
This is looking good, boys. This
Everything you quit, you know, with us, I suggest you with the best. Jump on
I guess Sage is in here. I shouldn't assume that you're all male. All right, everyone. I think that this is looking good. 4 minutes left on the 15 to close. We're look for I'd be taking longs on ES. Probably three. Actually, I'm not even going to say what I'm going to. Well, I'm not. I mean the size. I'm not going to say size. Everybody is in charge of their own financial decisions.
Now, I'll be feeling so no caffeine this morning. I don't know why you're at the station. I need if you do.
Push it all the way back down. See if we're getting see if we're getting a tap on all that M5, that those stacked points of interest. Yeah. See if we get those.
On buying what means I ain't hitting the pipe like two. Shit, I'm drunk. Okay. What? Excuse me?
And that'd be the equilibrium of
But
the
when
five.
you're in hood, it's doing good. No, we gonna lose everything. Ah, shit. What do I? Famous, a little help with the tow truck. Nothing wrong with a man like. Right. You just get together. Your ass done went crazy. Absolutely. They know to frankly couldn't. Like that. Remember that on the burger shop? Not this again. What we was 13. But you was the man of that night. Damn, every time with this and nothing. It's all good, baby. I know that one down here goes. Oh, shit. That's the truth. Ain't no point drag out. Dispatch, what you got? And more. Yeah, there's talk about a sticker, a bunker, and little coals. Need coffee. You know what? Coffee? I'm an original. Yeah, they be still sick. Are you sure you need me? Because you look like you know what you do. One, I can't drive. And two, this ain't no work. Oh, you feminist cars, nigga, ain't you time? Like your aunt saw her fake jogging the other day, getting some whacked out nonsense. That bitch is crazy. Yeah, that we can agree on. And I have qualifications, honey. Like hell you do. A certificate in cosmology. You never seen else. You going into space now? You always did. You were so high. Remember Davis High? You didn't learn shit at that school. And you got your laugh on the corner, Dave.
Guys, I think I like it.
Yes.
All right, here's our tap with a 5-minute BPR, 5-minute IFEG, 5-minute FEG, and 5-minute equilibrium. Sure flushing. We need to see a healthy bounce here. Oh, look at that. That's what I want to see. How can it finish the move? And it finishes. There caught a lot of buying power there. Got a 2 minute right here. Been respected. Okay, ES grinding higher here. We want to make sure we're on the right side.
Let's look out. I want to get fresh. Then I run fast. I get the kind of paper that stand out. On his own. I'm tight. My mind is a shit. The voice on the ground. So I see the way that right from now. That's all. Thank the job for making friends here. I say you manage some hell now. Some repo work. Yeah, that's true. Same shit, but nicer call. It's an honest dollar, and there ain't many of them around. An honest dollar that I ain't seen yet. Man, JD need to get his head straight. Maybe he's going through a hard time. A hard time sitting on his ass smoking crack. I gotta keep his up. Word is, he'll sell the business. I knew all the drivers with no papers. JB sold his social for a peep back. I see the problem. I just don't see that as mine. You, I'm here, ain't I? I've been covering that brother for 20 years. Rich don't man get your face cut. Especially on property in the market area. Famous with phone. John Scooter. Focus on your back, not mine. So guys.
Need to see a reaction here, guys, or it's probably cool. I don't know how to do it.
That's my money. And what your money? I'll make it, Franklin. You know I will. See you around. There's no right witness. There's no man. You want to know what is uh sort of got his own something. Nigga, I'm saying it's an expensive fucking thing. It's like, you know, and there, in there, I'm looking at this with me. I'm like, it's from my, okay, okay, and he said, oh, and they got me, the parent. There was a, you know, he heard turn there, and now the president, the often, this one from here, I'm work, this, yeah, I'm work, this, yeah, I can wait on. Straight is out, you know, just, then,
And Q's just lagging behind, man. There you go.
Los Santos, another show, another break, another series speech, a bunch of never heard. Radio Los Santos will play you music. That doesn't matter. Charts or for one pop authentic hip hop tracks and playing only the best commercials. It's a big way to make that. This is Seattle, shocking news. As police to get you arrive on paparazzi during a high-speed chase. Miranda, what you do to keep the meat? Yeah, the more
See what this little goes.
070. They these Jesus. You gotta sit down. 106.1. The most sense. Prison short vaccine. I can talk about she's training man, doing everything. You so don't all things. This in practice. I just
2 minute when I RPG over here.
control precisely that feedback. No matter. You know, in that out. All they know that basic. Just take a peaceful. With that at the point. Issue. They go. Working it. Eat. No quick.
Hmm. Hasn't sold me yet. Really, what's this to me is not really what I want. Actually, like these last few candles from NQ more. I think this is the last thing I want to see. On this 15 to flip. This isn't looking that good to me. To me, the way this looks up here, it's gonna want this, and if ES makes its way all the way to there, NQ could potentially even make a new lower low, which I don't want any part of. And as soon as I say that, well, I guess that's a 15-minute candle, but as soon as I say that, it's outside. No, just let me fade you. Just consolidate it. Just, I really would. All this in here look great. But wanted this 15 to flip. Not flip. Been tapped here and here. And now we're still back under 4 hour. Whole trade was formulated off of a bullish 4 hour candle, which ES is, but NQ is really lagging. These candles are to be. All right, guys, I'm gonna fade it. Thank you for everybody. Calling want to take the most high quality trades. This is part of the game. I will more than likely be on for New York AM if you want to follow the channel and join. I'll see you guys on the next.